We're through 3 games here in the NBA Summer League for the Blazers. The chief focal point for the entire Summer League is the progression of Jerryd Bayless. We've talked about this and written about this a lot over the last couple of weeks, but the main focus of Summer League is to see his evolution and progression at point guard. What we're seeing is he is having some growing pains at that. He remains, if you talk to him, he remains confident and steadfast that he is improving, that he does feel comfortable, and that he will be prepared by the time training camp rolls around to be this team's backup point guard. Talked to General Manager Kevin Pritchard after the game, and he also remains confident in Bayless and his abilities, and believes that he will be a player, a rotation player, and a capable backup going into training camp. What I've noticed with Jerryd right now, and I asked him a little bit about that, but he's kind of balancing. It's a fine line of using his aggressiveness and his scoring mentality to his advantage, while also running the team and getting other players involved. And he's really struggling when to do which. He's put and this is a good development, he's really put a focus on not just putting his head down, charging the basket every time, and trying to carry this team on his back by scoring. He has put a lot of emphasis on trying to pass to his teammates, getting his teammates in right spots, and directing the team. Perhaps the most alarming aspect of his play over the last 3 days is his turnovers. He's averaging 6 a game. He's got 18 through 3 games, and even he admitted that is alarmingly high, and something that he will need to cut back on. He's averaging 4 assists a game, 12 total. It's improvement over last year, but still not enough to certainly convince Blazers fans that he's ready to be the backup point guard. Another kind of discouraging sign from Friday night's game was Bayless was matched up head-to-head with first-round draft pick Ty Lawson out of North Carolina, and he was greatly upstaged by Lawson. Lawson finished with 26 points and 5 assists, made 11 of 16 shots, looked more ready, looked like a better floor leader than Jerryd was tonight. So that's another kind of dent in his Summer League so far. One thing to keep in mind with all this is that it is Summer League. It's an evaluation process. He says he's using this as a tool to get better and become a better point guard. Last year he was the MVP, averaged almost 30 points a game. He has no illusions and couldn't care less about defending that title and racking up those points. He's more focused. Like I said, he describes it as I'm using this as a tool to become a better point guard. So that's where things stand with Jerryd. On the injury front, the Blazers have endured a couple of injuries, and in fact one of those was to rookie forward Dante Cunningham, which actually directly impacted Bayless and the rest of the team's effort Friday night. Cunningham suffered a groin injury in the Blazers opener, played through it in their second game, was unable to go tonight. He's listed as day-to-day the rest of the Summer League for the remaining 2 games. Also, in the closing seconds on an alley-oop dunk, Jerryd Bayless collected a pass from Pujetter, finished it, landed awkwardly, kind of immediately grabbed his calf. Seems to have pulled or tweaked his calf, had a big ice pack wrapped around it after the game. Says it's not that big of a deal, and he expects to go during the next game tomorrow night. I also had an opportunity tonight to talk to Blazers General Manager Kevin Pritchard about the fallout from Utah matching free agent Paul Millsap and where the Blazers go next in free agency. Pritchard was obviously disappointed that the Jazz decided to match Millsap, but he also admitted that it was in the back of his mind all along that was a possibility. Utah had been pretty open and frank throughout the process that they would match any reasonable offer to their power forward, and they did decide to do that. Pritchard got an official call from the Jazz organization today, and the Blazers will now move on to option C or D or wherever they're at, depending upon their timeline here for the rest of the offseason. It's unclear exactly where the Blazers will go next. The free agent pool is definitely drying up. It's becoming more and more shallow. There's some talk about Lamar Odom, who seems at least has received a contract offer reportedly from Miami. Could be a possible destination. Sources I've talked to from the Blazers indicate that that's not someone they have contacted, and I would probably be surprised if they did go that route. from that point forward, it seems more and more likely that the Blazers will shift their attention from free agents to trades. Now, Pritchard didn't say that. He continues to utter the phrase, why limit your options? If a free agent develops that he's interested in, he will certainly go that route. But with how the pool has dried up, it seems more and more likely that he will continue to pursue trades. I tend to think that the way the offseason has gone so far, Pritchard and his management staff will probably not make any significant move until the regular season. That's not anything that I've been told for sure. It's just a hunch and where the landscape seems to be. You've kind of seen the seeds planted from the staff and how they've been talking recently. I mean, they regularly point out, and I tend to agree with this, that they did have a team that won 54 games last year, finished fourth in the Western Conference, returns virtually everyone from that, with a year of experience and in a playoff series of experience too. It seems like they still have a pretty good team left, a capable team going into next year. So more and more that scenario seems most likely, because quite frankly, when you go into next year, I would put the chances very high that some team at some point during the year is either going to encounter financial trouble or realize that they're out of the playoff race either early or as late by the trading deadline, and some player, some talent, a person that could be deemed a difference maker may unexpectedly surface at that point, which would become an option for the Blazers. The prototypical example is how Pau Gasol was traded to the Lakers a couple of seasons ago, and obviously their success after that speaks for itself. So it just seems more and more likely that the Blazers will not make a major offseason splash. I'm not saying it's impossible or that it won't happen or that some unexpected trade might develop, but because of how things have gone thus far in the offseason, it just seems more likely that it will carry over to the offseason, to the regular season. The one caveat to that is if the Utah's matching Millsap stimulates that Boozer trade that we've heard a lot about, and other pieces start to move and more players become available. But unless that happens sooner than later, I expect the team to be almost as we've seen it now, with perhaps a couple of additions, maybe smaller name additions along the way.